From infants to adults, they have it at Dodge City, East Rainer Road, Chattanooga. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Thank you there, Patrick. Right now, 37 degrees. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, 37. We're well above freezing here at 9:39, 21 away from the hour. We thank Patrick for that updated forecast, and it looks like we escaped most of the weather. Of course, as we've been telling everybody all morning long, that Dade County did go to a virtual learning schedule today. They originally was going to be on a 2-hour delay, but Josh Ingalls said that they had rode the roads this morning at about 4:30 on both Sand Mountain and Lookout. The main roads, he said, were fine. Secondary roads, he was concerned about putting buses on, so that's why they chose to do that. So we welcome everybody. 9:39. It's time for the news segment this morning, and we welcome to the studio the Vice Chair of the Dade County Commission as we talk a little county government. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, Evan, and thank the good Lord it's 37 and not about 32.
That's exactly right. Well, first thing I want to ask about Commissioner Bradford.
All right, I can tell you what I know. First of all, information is scarce because no one in the family that should know is able to go with these folks, and that's a sad thing, but that's the way it is as far as being able to visit those. But Alan did take kind of a setback, I guess, yesterday, and was put in. He is in ICU now, not in the I guess they call it COVID wards at the hospital. A few more issues that I'm not really up on, and I'm not going to say anything that I don't know for sure, but I do know he's in intensive care. As with most COVID patients in a more severe case, I think keeping the oxygen level up is the main thing because of what it's doing to the lungs and all that. I know Alan's going to be strong, and we do please ask people to pray. Pray for him, not only for him, but his wife Kathy, who is ill herself. I don't know, I cannot say if she has COVID or not, but in this day and age, a husband and wife, take myself and my wife, we've been together for 52 years almost as husband and wife. We've watched each other go through, surgeries and treatments and you name it. We've been there for each other, and family is the strongest, should be one of the strongest institutions on earth. And now all of a sudden, somebody's in the hospital and you can't see them face to face. You can't visit them every day as their wife, their husband, son, daughter, grandmother, grandfather, or whatever, and that in itself has to take such a toll. So we ask you to pray for them, and remember when you're praying, not only them, but there's others that are going through exactly the same situation. There's no one in it alone. It does affect people different. Some people have COVID and really never show that much of signs of it, and then it hits some hard, and Alan's been one that was hit hard. So please keep him in your prayers. He is in Memorial Hospital. And pray for all those and everyone involved, the doctors. We're facing things, and they are. I mean, in honesty, not taking up for anybody, but we're just living in a time that we, 2 years ago, we didn't even dream we would see.
No, exactly. I mean, this is unprecedented times as far as a pandemic, and we wish him a speedy recovery. And we'll continue to reach out and find out how he's doing, and hopefully that's going to be just a temporary setback for him to have to go into ICU, and he'll be out before you know it, fixing folks.
He'll be putting a heater in.
Yeah. That's right. Even though he's been retired from that for several years.
I don't understand that. I don't go deliver packages, but he said, but he does. He's done a lot for a lot of people, and very knowledgeable on what he does, and that is one place you want knowledge when you're hooking up gas lines inside your home. But that being said, and talking about the COVID, I've been asked to tell you that there are approximately 20 appointments available. This is at the health department for COVID, COVID vaccinations. I cannot tell you what they've got coming in, what to go. I know they're handling that. They are the state, so to speak, in the county health departments. I don't know when they get vaccines and when they don't, but they do have, I was told, approximately 20 appointments available for today, and that is at 706-657-4213, because they want you to, they've got a big sign on the door, you do not come in to the health department to make your appointment. You get your appointment over the phone, and then you come in at your appointed time. And if you have not been, or you're looking for one, because I think the governor may be making, as you talked about before we went on, Evan, that he will be making an announcement today of the next phase and who it will take. We're still under, as far as I know right today, we're still under the first responders, and we're under the 65 and older, and caretakers and that kind of thing. So
right, it's 1A. And we don't know exactly what he's going to announce, other than the fact that he will be making an announcement as far as the COVID-19 vaccine later on this afternoon. He's got a press conference set at 4 o'clock. He's going to be doing that at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, and for those of you who follow us on our Facebook side at KWN News Now, KWN News Now, for anybody that's out there, make sure you follow us or like us or whatever you do on Facebook, and we will stream that on our Facebook site when he goes live at 4 o'clock this afternoon for an update.
And we thank you for thank you, Evan, for carrying that, because it does, every way we can inform. And I know Carrie will have it on the, I'm sure she will, on the county web page and places for you to see. We try to keep everybody as informed we can, especially in this time. Also, Carrie, before she had to leave, gave me a note that the driver services will be here next Monday. That is on the 22nd. Now, they come every other week. They were here this past week. And they will be back. Now, when we say this, we don't know what weather's going to be. We hope and pray that after this that everything starts being springy again. The little daffodils and all that come up. But then that being said, there's a lot of people. I've got some messages this morning about roads in Trenton. And as you just announced a while ago, I think that's the best we can do, is what Mr. Superintendent Engel did, and I know Alex and Billy and everyone else that's been out and seen. I think as long as people will just be careful, drive slow. If you're going to be a little bit late, it's better to be late than to not make it at all. So just drive slow, and I'm not saying I know every road on Lookout Mountain or every road on Sand Mountain. I do know that the valley out here, over in our subdivision around the school, 136, which is State Highway, 11 State Highway, is in great shape. It's just wet. Hopefully the rain's ended. We must have got a pretty good rain last night. I noticed that my sump pump kicked in at some point during the night pumping water out, and it takes pretty heavy rain for that to happen. So everybody stay safe, drive safe, and we're going to get through all this stuff together, and springtime's coming, and we'll just all be a happier people. I want to report on something we've been talking about for seemed like months and months, and we really have, and that's County Road 6. It is going, the work is going as fast as it can, obviously in this type of weather. There's not a whole lot you can do when you're digging and hauling and pouring concrete and that kind of thing, but when this rain is over, and the cold weather, not unless it's bitterly cold, does not make a great difference in whether or not they can pour concrete. But it's moving right along, and there will be, we talked at our meeting last week, these are setbacks when you cannot, or week before last, these are setbacks when you can't do anything and you're expecting a deadline of mid-March or the end of March. It may run it up to the 1st of April, but I can assure you we're doing everything that we can. I will say that Ted and I visited went to Atlanta last week, or maybe earlier this week. I don't know, the days are getting by. And we talked to the commissioner of GDOT about that road and about it being an emergency fix and so on and so forth. And we are expected to get some help from the state on paying for our repairs that we've done on it, because that is an extensive, I said extensive, but it's also an expensive fix on that road.
Right. Yesterday I spoke with our legislative delegation. Senator Mullis talked about that. He said he was with y'all on that that meeting, and the DOT is going to be able to help y'all with some of the funding for White Oak Gap and County Road 6. So that's always good when you get some extra funds for that.
Yeah, and things like, the commissioner was kind of more careful about the Hell's Gap and roads in general that are mainly, even though there's some places that, you may have to dig out, you may have to replace some some material under the pavement, not just go in and pave over the top of it. But I will tell you that, and it makes perfectly good sense. He said, you know, when you're talking about paving, everyone wants the roads paved. So they have to be careful. There's a difference, and you know, they have some discretionary funds, emergency funds, whatever you want to call them, that they're able to give. You know, in 2015, when we had the floods and it washed out down at it was either Sulphur Springs Gap down in Rising Pond or Newsom Gap Road, whichever it was there, Belt Road in the far end of the county. Those people were stranded in there, and then it was emergency fix, and we were able at that time to get some help. Of course, some of that came through FEMA because it was a flood issue. But, you know, those things happen, and that's where the state is able to come in and give you more assurity that you're going to get help. But to go to the state and say, we really need to replace a tile somewhere, again, every county of the 159 in Georgia would want that same thing done because they have need of doing things like that. So some of it is just general week-to-week, year-to-year road maintenance, and then some of it is emergency, such as was on, or going to be worse, on going up Lookout Mountain a few years ago, and that was fixed, and now we're trying to do the best we can. It's really more of an extensive fix. Again, I use that word extensive and expensive. Boy, don't they sound a lot alike on Highway or County Road 6.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully this weather's going to improve. They can get the construction ramped up, and in the next month get that road back open for sure. So that would be a great thing for those folks that have to travel. Now have to go over to the top, as we call it, the top of the mountain.
The top of the mountain, yeah. There's only one top.
Yeah, there's only one top, but we always there to four-way stop at the top of the mountain, but on 136 and 301. Yeah. So that'll be good. I know that you keep up to date, and as kind of the county liaison with the state legislature when they're in every year. Senator Mullis and of course Mike Cameron talking yesterday. One of the big things is, I think, Senator Mullis said that he has authored 11 bills right now that directly reflect the election changes in the state of Georgia that will hopefully go through. There's like 28 over in the House. This has kind of been their number one priority besides COVID and the budget, is revamping our election process here. Of course, all elections are local because we have our individual boards that run the elections in every county, but the laws are set by the legislature.
They are, and you know I think everybody knows what's driven this, and it was this past election where the accusations went out from so many people of it being at least fraudulent, rigged, whatever word you want to use. I can tell you now, I've always been a fan of people who vote absentee. You know, if you're going to be gone, I think my wife and I have done it one time in our many, many years together that we were going to be on vacation or something. That's always been a possibility, but when ballots were mailed out in mass numbers, I think it just opened up Pandora's box for it.
Well, the application process is one of the biggest things that caused all the confusion, because in Georgia you've always had to get an application for an absentee ballot, but when they mailed them out, the state did, to every registered voter, even the ones that may have moved out of the state. You got to keep in mind that the voters stay on the list for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you vote, you're a registered voter in Georgia, and 7 years ago you moved to Wisconsin. Not only did you get a state absentee request form, but there was different organizations that mailed out, and some people got 8 or 9 of them.
Oh yeah.
And under the law at that point in time, you could. So here you're in Wisconsin. You used to be a Georgia resident. You're still on the rolls to be able to vote, but you haven't lived in Georgia in 7 years, and you've got 7 different absentee request forms to request a ballot. Total confusion, and that's some of the things. Some of these 11 different bills that our senators introduced that's going to take care of that and make it less confusing.
And you know what, Evan? I don't care where you're far left, far right, Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care where you live in the state. It's, you know, the word voter support. You're just trying to keep people. No, it's trying to make the election means something.
Every registered
That
voter.
everyone gets to vote that should vote.
Everybody should get to vote that is a legal registered voter.
Well,
Now, and in Georgia, and of course you know this, Commissioner, we've got 3 weeks, including a Saturday, to come vote outside the 12 hours that all of the precincts are open. So, I mean, I love the fact that you can vote absentee in case you're going to be out of the country and our military. But, you know, you would think in 3 weeks plus the 1 12-hour day and the Saturday that if we really wanted to come vote, we would be able to, within that time frame, come vote.
Nowhere in Dade County, unless you were severely handicapped, could you not go from any point in Dade County during early voting if that's what you needed to do. It's just been so made wide open, and now Georgia is under a microscope. Everything we do, and you know, you can't pick up the paper, almost can't get into Google or Facebook that it's not downing the state of Georgia because we're so trying to suppress people. I don't have I can't go usually to a motel somewhere if I'm on vacation. They'll want to see my driver's license, and so why should I not show some proof of who I am when I go vote? But that's the only thing I told Senator Mullis when we talked that little bit about that when we were there last week. I said, I hope and pray y'all can get something that a federal judge or whoever cannot step in and override the will of the people in the legislation that y'all are here to do. We are a republic, and that means, Evan, as you know, you elect people to take care of business. That's what we do when we pledge allegiance to the flag and to not the democracy for which it stands, but to the republic for which it stands. It gives us the right to elect our sheriffs, our constitutional officers, our commissioners, our school boards, our governors, our senators, but then you've got to let them do things that for the will of the people as best they can. Well, they always get it right. Not in everybody's eyes. You'll never please everybody. But when you can do it and you think, okay, we've got a fix, and then some federal judge can turn over the will of the people in a state, whether that's Georgia or Michigan or Idaho, it doesn't matter. So I just hope they get something that is ironclad enough that it works. It's the best they can come up with, and we don't have to go through this every 2 to 4 years or every election that comes up, whenever that might be.
Well, there's going to be a number of changes. What the end result and what gets to the governor and what he signs come July is still don't know the exact, but we do know there's a number of bills being introduced in both chambers, both on the Senate side and the House side, and there are also many other bills that we've been talking about. And I know you keep a close eye on those as how they would affect the county government's operation.
And anyone can. I want to tell people you can go to the state legislature's webpage. You can see all the bills that are there. Now I'm telling you, when you're talking about several of them just for elections, you imagine all those other little bills are there. Whether or not you can raise rabbits in a city limit, and I'm not being facetious, because that was one a few years ago, not here in Trenton, obviously, but in some city. But you can kind of keep up with them and pick out the ones. There's one that was maybe come up. I doubt it'll go anywhere, but trains could not block an intersection for more than 15 minutes. Well, that's hard to imagine that happening, but it is, let's say, because that affects people.
Absolutely.
2-hour visit for a family to someone in the hospital to stop this. Nobody can go in and see them that we talked about earlier. That's some legislation that's up, and I do hope in some form that passes, because it's not right, and there's got to be a way to do it. So
and do it safely.
Do it safely. Yeah, not just let anybody and limit it to right. 2 people a day and an hour. So so long, but let them go in. And see
I do think, and you'll agree with me on this. I do think that for someone, whatever reason they're in the hospital, that's a part of the healing process, to have your family around and have a positive attitude. I think that goes a long way.
Well, pastors, it was for a long time, pastors couldn't visit, and people expect that. If they have a pastor, usually they expect them, but they were not able to do so. And all that is a healing. I think the Bible said this, talking about laughter, said do as good like a medicine. Yeah. So sometimes seeing that cheerful face and somebody to cheer you up and say, you're looking good today, you're looking better, you're getting along better, blah, blah, it's got to help. And I know we're going to run out of time.
Yeah,
Before I do,
I've only got about a minute.
I do want to shout out to our road department, everybody, and first responders, and you name it. In times like this, things still happen. Emergencies still happen. Roads freeze over, get icy. And I do want to say, I don't know about the sheriff's department. I know they do a great job, but I don't know what they did last night. I don't know all that our road department did, but I know they do the very best they can to keep everybody moving in time, because emergencies still happen and work still happens.
Absolutely.
So, and I do want to say, we talk about County Road 6. If you were able to go out there at times, you would see our road department, after all the mowing, all the paving we could do, everything was done. You saw our guys down in there twisting wire around the rebar in the bottom of that thing. And when you do that, yeah, they're getting paid, but that means that you're not paying some company to come in and do it for you. It's a win-win situation, and those guys deserve more than just a pat on the back. And they deserve more than what they get sometimes for what they do, but they do great.
We thank you very much for coming in and giving us an update on that. We hope Commissioner Bradford gets on the road to recovery real quick. We'll see you back tomorrow for another edition of KWN Today. Have a great day, everyone. Fox News at the top of the hour on radio, and we got Newsmax TV coming up on KWN TV. Stay with us.